everybody, it's Lori. Welcome back to Pizazz Studios. I'm happy to have you here with me. I was just going to mix up some of my cell activator, so I thought I'd do a really quick video and show you how I go about doing them, because I've had a lot of interest from people on how I do it. So I have 3 ingredients. I'm going to make a black cell activator today. So I have some water. It does not need to be distilled water. This water is actually from my refrigerator, so it's the filtered water that comes through the fridge. And I have some black Amsterdam oxide black paint, acrylic paint. And then I have Liquitex Basics acrylic black ink. So those are my 3 ingredients in today's cell activator. I do have a few different recipes that I use for cell activators, depending on the look I'm going for and things like that. But I'm gonna put you down on my table and I'll show you how I mix it up. Alrighty. Here we go now. I have you guys down on my spinner here where I'm going to put my ingredients together here. Bear with me, I'm talking as I think. Trying to get all my stuff together. All right, so I think I have everything here. I have a stir stick, I have a little cup, I have a measuring spoon, I have my water, I have my ink, and I have my paint right here. Let me see if this is too close. It's not too bad. I'm going to zoom out for a moment. I put some paper up on my spinner because at the moment I have a silicone mat there that's a little bit of paint on it, and it thought it might be hard for you to see, so I wanted to give you a white background. So I'm going to take that off in a minute, but anyway, it's just so that you can see better. What you want to do is you're going to need these things here. You can use different paints and things like that for your cell activator. I happen to be making my black one today. So I'm using Amsterdam Oxide Black. It's an acrylic paint. This is a big bottle of it. You can get it in smaller bottles, of course. Okay, and I just have some filtered water from my refrigerator. The only thing I use, I started out with bottled water that you buy, and I've never used distilled water, and I've never had a problem. Some people say that you need to use distilled water, but I find that not to be the case. Okay, I have a just a measuring spoon here. It happened to be 1 tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon equals 15 milliliters, but I don't use the milliliters, I just go by the tablespoons. But if you need them, this is 15 milliliters. Take your water, you fill up your 1 tablespoon of water. I do it right to the top and I pour it in the cup. You can make smaller batches if you need to, but this isn't a very big batch, so I think this is a pretty good amount. I was just gonna say something else and it has slipped my mind, so my apologies. If it comes to me, I'll let you know what I was gonna say, but I do not know what that was at the moment. Go ahead and take your spoon and fill it with paint. You wanna add the pretty much exact amount of water and paint. You want to be pretty precise with it. Take your paint and bang this on here like so. That'll level out the paint for you. Make sure you have it at a good level. That looks pretty good compared to my water that I put in. So now I'm going to tip my spoon over and just dump my paint into the water. And I will scrape it out with a stir stick. Personally, I use these larger craft sticks. I don't like the popsicle sticks. They're too tiny. I find that they're difficult to work with. And these are like tongue depressors. So that's the size of these if you're interested. All right, so you're done with your paint and you're done with your water. As soon as you're done, I would recommend washing your spoon so you can get that paint out. Otherwise, it's going to stain it and be stuck in there and all that good stuff. So wash this out right away, which I'm going to go do right now. I'll be right back. Let me zoom in here. So I want to show you a little bit of a close-up of what I'm going to do next. All right, my 3rd ingredient. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I just remembered. Okay, so I use equal parts of water and paint. So it's 1 tablespoon of water, 1 tablespoon of paint. And then I add 2 pipettes of Liquitex Basics acrylic ink. This is black. I have black paint, so I'm using black ink. So when you open these, you do have to shake this. Let me show you how it settles if you haven't used it in a while. All the paint sitting at the bottom. You don't want to use it when it's like that. This is a white one. See how it separates? So you want to make sure you shake them before you use it. I usually shake it and then let it sit a minute because you get a lot of bubbles, but then that's how you want it to be. You don't want it to be separated. I'm going to actually stir this first. Stir your paint and your water together before you add your ink. I'm not honestly sure if it makes a difference if you don't, but this is how I do it and it works well for me. So I think if you want it to work well, it would make sense that you work the water and the paint in together to each other before adding the ink. You want to stir it very well. You want to get all the paint off the sides and the bottom. You want to incorporate these two ingredients very nicely. You don't want to have any clumps in your paint. You want to wipe your spoon, wipe your stick off as well as you go, because your paint sticks to the stick. Sticks to the stick. Your paint sticks to the stick. Now the ink comes in a bottle like this, 1 ounce or 30 milliliters. That's the size bottle I have. Squeeze it so the ink comes up into it, and it should be full. Okay, squirt in 1 pipette full. Do the same thing again. 2 pipettes full. 2 pipettes of, well, I hope that's how you say it, pipette, pipette, pipette. I say pipette. Anyway, you squeeze in 2 of those and then mix this very well together as well. I do recommend to test it before doing like a large painting or tile or whatever you're painting on. Tiles are actually okay for testing because you can wipe the paint off and use it again. And I'm actually going to do that right now and I'll show you what I mean. So what I find very helpful are these things here. They come in your picture frames. You don't even need to use the whole thing. You can, if they're big, you can rip them in half. You can use just a portion of it. Usually it has like a picture of somebody on it or something like that. Now this may not necessarily be the prettiest thing because I'm just testing the cell activator. So I'm only going to put down a few colors and see what happens. So like if I'm using house paint or whatever, this is my base, right? So this is my white house paint. Pretend this is like your painting, whatever you're painting, tile, what have you. Put a little bit of down of the paints just as you're going to do on the tile. This is just some Payne's Gray. I'm just going to put, whoops, more than I wanted, but that's okay. This is just some magenta. You don't need a lot. It's just enough to test it. Make sure you get cells. If you don't get cells, then I recommend stirring longer or making a new batch. Make sure your water and your paint are even in measurement. And make sure you have 2 full pipettes full of ink. All right, let's give this a go. We'll see what we get. That was probably a little more than I needed, but that's okay. A little difficult to do on a little piece of paper. All right, now these probably weren't the best paints to lay down in that order either. I was just testing, but as you can see, I have cells forming, so that's good. So to me, this is working just fine, and it will be a good cell activator to use. See if I can bring this a little closer. Like I said, it's not perfect, it's just a test. Okay, so that's all set, and let me show you one other thing. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you real quick, let me just pick this cup up here and I'll show you my consistency for the cell activator. So it's kind of on the thin side. This is one of the thinner cell activators that I use. Like I said, I have a few different recipes that I use. Now this one, hopefully you can see this. It's black, so it can be difficult to show up when recording, but it's pretty thin. It runs right off the stick. It goes right back into my cup. There's no mound. But let me know if you have any questions. Basically, that's it, okay? So I hope that helps you. Thank you for watching. If this was a good video for you and you enjoyed it and it was helpful, please hit the thumbs up button. I appreciate that. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.